Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now, today I want to be talking about just kind of where we're sitting at with the overall market, because we've been seeing Bitcoin do some pretty interesting things, and it's kind of at least leaving me a little bit confused, and so it's probably doing that to a lot of other people. And so I want to go take a look through the chart, go over kind of where we're sitting at within the market overall. Since we've seen altcoins move up so dramatically recently, I've seen a lot of how long is the cycle going to last? When's it going to end? All of that type of stuff. And there's something that I want to take a look at that has been right every single previous cycle that I think is worth at least kind of looking to is maybe a gauge. Now, again, past performance is not any indicator of future returns. So not necessarily like a guaranteed timing of when something's going to happen, but at least could be something good to look at and keep in perspective as part of this large list of things that we're using to analyze the market, keep overall overview of where things are at, stuff like that. So anyway, let's go ahead, dive right in. Starting at what we can see on crypto bubbles, this overall green day in the market, we can see H-bar continuing a move up. We've seen a ton of moves out of H-bar lately. MOG's another one that's been moving pretty good lately. We are seeing Jasmy down almost 10% on the day. Not something too crazy overall as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we've seen Jasmy up 10+% for the past 3 or 4 days. We've seen really pretty strong moves out of Jasmy, so not something I'm super worried about overall. But overall, as we can see, the market looking really good. We can see Bitcoin up 2.8% on the day, so Bitcoin definitely kind of coming back a little bit. We are seeing recoveries on a lot of these that we were seeing kind of dipping over the past couple days, H-bar being kind of the main one, XRP being another, Bitcoin being another. So I mean, things looking still really quite strong within the crypto market. Looking at the chart, we can also see something a little bit interesting. Now, if we look here at the chart, we can see a couple interesting things. First off, we have this kind of major candle where it goes anywhere as low as 91 and up to over 103,000. So massive, over 12% volatility within this one candle here. And we can see unusual, right? Even some of these major green candles, we still didn't see volatility like this. Tons and tons of movement in both directions here. And as we can see, the open and close actually ended relatively close with each other, but between then, I mean, we saw massive moves one direction and the other. So kind of crazy stuff. We have seen since that major one, it looked like we might have kind of touched that 100,000 and then started to kind of see that massive pullback, but we did recover very strongly here. Again, we're seeing wicks up above this 100,000 range. We have actually kind of recaptured this $100,000 mark just barely. We're at 100,261. So whether we sit up here or not, or see another wick, it remains to be seen. Obviously, we're looking at the daily candles. If we look at hourly, this is where we can start to see a lot of the volatility that we've been seeing lately. If we back it up a little bit, we can see moves up to the upside here. It looks like it's not going to load that far back, but we see really strong moves to the upside here, and then we're starting to see some consolidation in this space overall. And then we can see right here, this is that mega candle that we saw. Obviously, really strong move to the upside, a little bit of some stuttering out, and then major move here. Looks like there was a pretty large maybe liquidation event or seller or something, but that obviously got bought up very, very quickly, and then we've kind of seen a little bit more less volatility in this range than what we were seeing kind of in this period before. This is not super concerning or confusing to me, at least, just because we did hit that really pivotal $100,000 mark, and so obviously there's a little bit of messing with the market going on, at least in my opinion. So if you are interested in trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, Cardano, XRP, any of these, you can feel free to use my link in the description below. I am working with BTCC again for another month. They've been really, really great to work with. This 10% bonus on first time deposits, in my opinion, is really, really great. Obviously, I want to do what's best for my viewers and whatnot, and so obviously if I can get you guys free money, I'm definitely gonna take that option. And so overall, really good value here on this 10% bonus on first time deposits. This is in addition to the extra bonuses of up to $10,055 per user. So really great way to bring in some free money just for trading if you are looking to trade. Also, been around for 13 years. We've seen issues happen, particularly lately with exchanges. Basically, exchanges failing and doing that type of stuff is a tale as old as time. So the fact that these guys have seen, this is probably their 5th cycle that they're on right now. So I mean, they've been around. They've stood the test of time, at least so far. I mean, this is something that I think is probably one of the key points about having an exchange. You can also see 300 plus crypto futures, up to 500x leverage if that's something you're interested in. I don't really ever trade 500x leverage, but if you want to, that is available. And then also no VPN or KYC necessary if that's something that's important to you. So anyway, like I said, feel free, click the link below, check on that if that's something you're interested in. Moving on though, I did want to take a look at kind of this market overview dashboard that I have made. We can see same thing here. We actually are officially market-wide sitting in overbought at 71.14. Open interest, we haven't really seen a whole lot happen to. It's kind of pulled back a little bit from this massive move to the upside, but things have held relatively well. There's not a whole lot going on here in terms of like movement within open interest. It's kind of stabilized a little bit after this massive explosion of open interest after the U.S. election. We can see here on the liquidation map. The liquidation map is sitting at about even here, obviously favoring a little bit of a move to the downside. One thing that we are seeing though is a lot more volume coming in. 3 billion, usually relatively high for on the daily. Usually the daily is about 2.5. You can see here, this one not even 2. So it's looking like we've got a little bit more volume kind of running through this one. If we look at the 7-day, we can also see looks very similar in terms of structure, just bigger numbers. We're getting up to about 6 billion here and about 4.5 billion down, or 4.25 billion down here. We can also see we have moved out of extreme greed. We are back into greed. So the overall market, it's still frothy, but we have seen a little bit of a recovery, at least on the fear and greed index. However, if we do go up and look at the RSI heat map, it's very clear to see everything almost overbought. There are a couple things, in neutral and strong, but the majority of the market, as we can see by the market average, being in the overbought territory, everything is sitting pretty far up in the overbought range. I mean, if we're looking at something like, Ethereum, that's the 70 on 12 hours, 72 on 24, 65 on 4, 60 on 1. So I mean, definitely like lots of things looking and sitting in the overbought on the 24. So this to me means that it's possible that we see maybe more of a macro move down. It would not surprise me at all, just kind of given what we've seen in the chart. Looking at like Bitcoin specifically, we can see if we take a look back at the daily candles here on Bitcoin, what we can see is really strong move up without really any sort of recovery. I mean, we saw this little bit of a move here, which did turn out to be a fantastic buy if you did get in there. Obviously up just shy of 10% from if you would have been buying at the lows down here. We can see kind of, maybe a little bit here. It is looking like we're kind of establishing that level of like macro support, maybe at like the 90,000 level. Maybe we see another move back down to the 90,000 range. Even when we saw this wick, we got back to there, but obviously it was bought up extremely quickly. So this 90,000 level mark is kind of, well, close to 91, I guess, is kind of looks like where we're putting in a decent bit of like a support here, which is always good to see. With this level of support, I think we need to see a pretty large amount of negative sentiment to kind of go down into this like 70 range. I mean, basically from like 87 to 72, this is like there's just no support or resistance in here. So if we were to lose kind of this 87 range, it is possible that we could kind of see almost like a gap back down to 72. With how the market's looking right now, I think I find that really quite unlikely. I mean, we might get back down to the 72 range, but to me that would be in like kind of the depths of next bear market if I had to take a guess. Now also looking, what we can see here is we are sitting in altcoin season. So what we've seen, or what I've seen more in comments and from different viewers and people just within the wider crypto market, there's been more questions about, okay, well, we've seen Bitcoin break 100,000. We've seen, it continues to hit new all-time highs, but also at the same time, at least over the past like week or so, the past couple of days maybe being a bit of an exception to this, we started to see altcoins come back. Altcoins have been running really strong. We can see we are in fact in alt season. Usually when we're in alt season, that means Bitcoin's already topped. That's kind of like the inside of like the bull run, all that type of stuff. What are we looking at? How are things looking overall, just kind of based on what we're seeing here? And overall, like so far, I would say things still looking pretty strong. As far as when Bitcoin tops, I really don't know. I would expect to see probably a pretty strong move, and maybe we see tops by like, well, I think there's two outcomes. We just continue to move up to the upside like we have, and maybe we see tops by, into December, into January type of time range. Now, if we go and we do a little bit of a pullback like we have seen in markets prior, then obviously that's going to delay things, right? Because we're going to need the time for the market to kind of pull back, find its bottom, maybe consolidate a little bit, and then start its next move up. If we were to see that, that's something that I would maybe expect to see. I don't know, the next, maybe we see the tops coming in like mid or like late May, late June, somewhere in kind of that time range. And then from there, I would expect we'd see kind of the market tops kind of sitting at the end of the year, November, December type time frame. And otherwise, if not, we would see tops maybe in, March, April, May type time frame. So that's overall kind of what we're seeing here. However, is one thing we can see on the pi cycle top indicator. Now, what we can see is with the pi cycle top indicator, it takes two moving averages. And basically, in every previous bull run, the red line, which is the 111 daily moving average, has always crept above the 350-day moving average times 2. So basically double the 350-day moving average. The red has always crept above the green when we've hit kind of like our macro top. That's why they call it the pi cycle tops, because the top of the cycle is when we kind of cross those. What we can see right here is the red, let's move in now that we've kind of seen how it's hit in like every single previous bull run. What we can see here is the red is definitely started to kind of pitch up. So it's definitely getting closer to the green, but as we can see, still very much far apart. Definitely like not even anywhere close to hitting a pi cycle top. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's no guarantees that we're going to hit a pi cycle top this run, right? I mean, it's possible. Like we've seen, if we look all the way back throughout all of history, it happened in 2011. It happened in 2013 twice when we kind of saw both of those like major moves to the upside. We can see it happen in 2018. It happened in 2021. So, I mean, it's happened every single time, right? So I would feel relatively confident that we'll probably see this happening again, but there's no guarantees in life, right? And so that's just something that I want to take a look at today, is because things are looking good from this perspective, meaning like we do have some further room to run, at least in my opinion, based on what we're seeing on the pi cycle top indicator. Now, again, as I said, past returns are no indicator of any like sort of future success. So, maybe this is the cycle where it's different and we see it break and all this type of stuff. Maybe, right? But we haven't seen that so far in the past, and so this is something that I'm kind of looking toward as some level of indicator of where we're at in the cycle. Things I think still looking pretty good overall. We haven't seen that even get anywhere close to crossing. Maybe this is the cycle where it doesn't cross, but it gets close and then kind of fakes people out or something like that. Could always be an option. But overall, I mean, things looking really, really strong within the market. Hopefully you found the information in this video useful. If you did, please do give me a like and a subscribe, because it does help me out. Also, if you want to stay tuned for more updates, I do try to cover market updates as well as just various like altcoin specific updates as well. So if that's something you are interested in, like I said, like and subscribe are a great way to stay, will support me as well as stay tuned. Also, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, please feel free to drop those in the comment section below, because I do try to read and respond to all of those. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you in the next video.